Welcome to Ginclear Aviation. My name is Dan. Today I'm visiting Laddingford Airfield in the south of England to meet our good friend and aviation enthusiast Dave Moorman. Dave flies and aerobats his Cap 10B, so let's go and see what this plane is all about. Dave, great to see you again. Thank you for flying into Laddingford today. Where have you come from?
I came from Goodwood today.
Can you tell me a little bit more about this Cap 10 and how it's specific to you and your history with it and how you found it?
I was learning to fly tail draggers at the Tiger Club with Tony Richards, and once I'd done my tailwheel conversion, he said, well, if you're interested, there's one for sale down at Spilstead Farm. Robert Cole had imported 5 and he was restoring them all. This particular one, number 278, was built in France, in Bernay, at their factory, and exported to America, and was part of a Florida dual display team for most of the early noughties, because built in '98. And then it moved up the coast to a training academy for pilots. I think they had 5. And then eventually they decided not to use the Cap 10s anymore, gone to something else, and they were all exported back into the UK by Robert Cole, and he restored them all. Brilliant. So when you found yours, or when you went to see it, did it look like this, or what? It was in bits, literally hundreds of bits on shelving and racking all around his workshop, being sprayed and fettled and repaired and brought back to better than new standard, really. So from doing the deal to flying, how long did that take for the rebuild? I put the deposit down in 2007 and I first flew it in 2009. Okay, so a good 2 years on that, really. That's why she's called Patience. And did you specify anything specific for you, or was it sort of a standard build or anything? We just updated the instruments really to some basic, better aerobatic instruments. It's got a recording G meter in it, which you had to have. And it's got we had an early Garmin 496 fitted in the panel for navigation. Dave, could you explain to me what this plane is constructed of and how it's put together? It's made of wood, so but not that from B&Q. So it's aviation grade plywood, and it's laminated up. Wooden spar was laminated, wooden ribs which are not solid, there's like geodetic sort of structure in them to give them support, and the wings are covered in plywood as well, and then the wings, that plywood is covered in fabric, and then that is painted on top. The fabric actually lets the paint attach the wood properly and give a really good finish. So it's mostly all wood. There are a few metal bits. The top of the turtle deck is, on the later models, is made of glass fibre, as is the cowling. But mostly it's wood. Can you tell me the cruise speed, the fuel burn and the sort of duration that you get in a cross-country flight? Got 2 fuel tanks, one in the front which is 72 litres and one at the back which is a little bit more than that. I can't remember exactly, 65 I think. So about 130 in all, which gives you about a 3.5 hour range. We cruise around 130 knots indicated, maybe 125, depends, and getting leaned out about 8.5 gallons an hour on a cruise. And I know you use this for aerobatics, but have you taken it like touring or been anywhere far distance? Yes, yeah, we've farther south would be probably the Sable d'Olonne in France, and the furthest north it's been would be the most northerly airfield in Shetland, on the Shetland Isles, which we landed at once. So we've toured around Scotland in it as well. So it's a very capable touring aeroplane. So a Cap 10B is known for being an amazing aerobatic aircraft. So what is specific to the airframe that makes it aerobatic compared to, say, a Cessna or a Piper? It's a very coordinated aeroplane to fly. It just feels right. In every manoeuvre you do, it just feels like you're in control of it, and it doesn't have any vices that I found in 1,000 hours of flying it. It's got an inverted oil system, which means if you're in negative G upside down, the oil is still getting to the engine. And we've got recording G meters. Well, there's recording G meter, so you know exactly how much G it's pulled. When you fly it for doing aerobatics, you have to record the takeoff weight of everyone aboard and all the fuel, and then work out whether you're in the aerobatic G envelope, and just go from there, really.
So if we go around and do an A check, and while we do that, you could point out the quirks and the specifics that make it an aerobatic aircraft.
Yeah, sure, Dan, no problem at all.
So Dave, tell me, on the A check, where do you actually start? Where's the beginning?
We start in the cockpit.
Okay, so let's see where you are then.
So I'd probably just have a quick look round to make sure everything seems to be right, nothing obvious. But I'd probably just start off with the controls, making sure they're all working in the correct sense. Looking round, and everything's going up and down where it should be. No one's come overnight, disconnected it and turned all the controls upside down. Make sure the flaps come up nicely. Both sides are symmetrical and they're down. And then we'll have a look to see whether the trim tab is moving up, going forward and going back, going down, and neutralise it, and then just make sure that's working. That's fine. And we'll just check the mixture, the throttle is not too tight. And then I'll turn the master on, just have a look at the instruments, see what's what. Everything's coming on that should be. G5 is coming on, that's a marvellous HSI, and everything does everything. Make sure they're all making sense. We've got a bit of fuel in the front there, none in the back. That's all looking good. And we could just turn the avionics on to make sure they're coming up. And I'll just check the warning lights are all coming on when they should do, which they do. Oh, that's fine. Right, we'll put the fuel on, and then we'll have a look outside. I'll just turn the master off again because we don't need that. I don't tend to take the position lights or landing light on generally. And out of the cockpit we start going round clockwise, so just checking underneath. I normally do a fuel drain check, but I've done one earlier on today, so I don't want to do that again. Let's check the flaps are fixed and not too much play. Ailerons doing what they should, looking in the turnbuckles, and just giving the mass balance weight a little tug. And I'll just check the A-frame to make sure that's sort of sitting nicely, and the pitot tube, which is there, which is fine, and just look underneath, make sure I'm not taxied over any rocks or anything lately. Tyre pressure, give it a kick. It sounds, the pitch is right for that at 2 bar plus. And we're coming around, we're just checking the fairings at the side of the wing. Oh, the screws are tight, because screws into wood with vibration just work loose. That's a bit of a bane with a wooden aeroplane. And then we have a look in under this side of the engine, and the cowl. Trusty washer on your key ring, that's the way to open anything. Make sure the wind's not going to blow the cowl back in your face, that does happen. Let's check this. See, it's pulled out of the landing light thing. Make sure there's no leaks. And you can see this is the inverted oil system, taking the engine oil from the bottom or top of the engine, depending which way up you are. And I'll show you what happens to that the other side. I've got the left mag, and there's the oil filters there. There's no leaks on anything. This cylinder's just been replaced because the spark plug hole was a thread had gone. That's looking good. And everything's nice and tight. So I'll shut that down again, that side. Shut these. They used to just have 3 clips, but the French military specified another one there just when they were doing training exercise and things, and it just, one of the cowls came off once apparently. And the prop's made of wood, and it's got brass. It's called tipping. It's to stop if there's stones thrown up, and that the paint just wears straight off that. And what takes that off is rain. Water will take that off when the prop's running. So that's pretty good. And dead flies are attracted to the back of it. I don't know why, but they are some aerodynamic thing. And we just check that the spinner's on tight. And again, just knocking the wood. If there was a crack developing, you would hear different resonance. So it's quite a useful little tip. That looking good. Just the alternator belt here, make sure it's in play. In there, I just give it a half twist and that's fine. That might need replacing at some stage. Then we go round to the right or starboard cowling. Again, just looking at the windsock to make sure I'm not going to be hit in the face by it. And again, checking for leaks and exhaust blows and things. But no, that's all good. This engine's done over 1,000 hours since overhaul. So she's still going well. Just check the oil. I'll just put some more in today, so that's up about 5. Don't ever put much more than that in. You can't, if you put over 5 in, it comes straight out the oil breather. And these Lycomings will run quite happily when the oil's just touching the bottom of the dipstick, although no one actually believes that. It puts far too much oil in and it all comes out. This is the inverted air separator for the inverted oil system, so that gets air out of the oil, and it's got a little, somewhere down here, you can't really see it, there's a little tube with a ball bearing in it that goes up and down. When it's upside down, it lets the oil go in the other way, to the other way, if that makes sense. Yeah, that's all good. It's the brake fluid level, and that looks fine. That's the top of a what they call it, contact adhesive Evo stick bottle if you ever lose one. And we've run out of these little fasteners. Just do those up. It looks a little bit of surface rust on. That's why there's oil streak on that today. I'll put a little drop of oil when I put some oil in it. Looking underneath again, if the exhaust will rattle, that's the oil breather tube where it drips out if you put too much in. Make sure they're good. They're on. Good, like that. Make sure there's no holes underneath. And again, the mass balance weight, make sure that's on. Flaps are there. Canopy is good. Aerial's on and not moving. Again, just checking these screws haven't worked loose. You can just feel if they've got any, if they're not tight enough with your fingers. And you have to go and get your fuel strainer to do them up if they are loose. Trying to play on the bearings, that goes up and down nicely. Let's check the split pins are in the control locks and the wire locks in here, in the rudder control, and the springs are on and they haven't fallen off. And the tail wheel looks nice, and it's got a split pin in the nut. Those bolts are in nicely. And we've got the right movement. And again, another split pin in the nut and the bolt that holds the trimmer on. And again, this side, make sure that the spring's on the tail wheel. That locks when you're going straight, and then you have to, and then you can, it's a steerable tail, not steerable, well, it's a steerable tail wheel, so you can turn these around in very small spaces. Everything looks good. Statics are open. Yeah, that'll do me. I'll go flying in it.
Well, should we go for a flight?
Indeed, we can.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Before we go flying, let's have a quick chat about the aeroplane. The Mudry Cap 10 is a 2-seat aerobatic aircraft first built in 1970. The plane was developed from the PL Super Emerald. The letters CAP, C-A-P, stand for Construction Aéronautique Parisienne. The Cap 10 was originally manufactured by Mudry in Bernay, France. The Cap 10B production model had a redesigned tail compared to the prototypes. It is a low-wing cantilever monoplane of wooden construction. The engine is a Lycoming AEIO 360 with 180 horsepower, fuel-injected, horizontally opposed pistons, and the AE stands for Aerobatic, with specialist oil sump and inverted oil system.
Great, Dave. So we're in the cockpit. So can you talk us through how you start this?
Right, so make sure the brakes are on. See, go anywhere. They're pretty good, they will hold. Depending on whether it's hot or cold. I'm going to say it's a hot start, so I'm going to not prime it, or it will just go on its own. So mags on both, fuel's on the front, brakes are on, master's on, throttle cracked, and clip. So hold the stick right back with the tail dragger to hold the tail down. And here we go. Sorry, and turn the ammeter on. Charging, that's good. So a mag check. 1 and 1 and 2. It's fine.
Could you just run through the panel here and explain what we've got?
Right, so we've got the tachometer recording the RPM in hundreds, so it's 1200 RPM at the moment. And we've got manifold pressure here, which is just 13.5 inches of mercury, and they've got fuel flow meter, which is in gallons per hour, US gallons per hour, so it's only just off the bottom. Airspeed indicator. The white arc is flat limiting, so I can't put the flaps down until I'm in that. The green arc is normal operating, and then you've got bumpy air, and then you've got bumpy air here, haven't you? And then you've got sort of really bumpy stuff, and then B&E there, don't go there, otherwise the wings fall off. We don't hope. Recording, got a G meter, but it's a recording G meter, so I can tell what my last flight was. So coming here, flight 209 was plus 1G minus 0G, so there's no aerobatics at all. So that's where we are with that, and that when it 5 is the maximum before it goes beep, and then 6 is where the wings, you're actually total maximum, and you don't. It'll, once you start getting up quite high, it'll make beepy noises at us. We might be able to hear. Then what was I going to say? Something about that. I was just saying. I got the Garmin G5, which replaced my old electric Horizon, which I killed with aerobatics. After about 6 or 7 years, it refused to stay aligned for more than about 5 seconds, and I had to fly around in cloud with it not working, so I replaced it with G5, which is brilliant, and that does speed and height and pressure and all sorts of cool things, and it's got bugs and stuff, so it's really good instrument. Normal altimeter and a vertical speed indicator to see how far up we're going, up and down, a trig radio and a trig transponder. All the normal exhaust gas temperature on each one. The number 2 one's probes died, but replace that at the 50. Use that for leaning. Oil pressure, that's normal now. Oil temperature's coming up to the green. We've got 2/3 of a tank in the front. Nothing in the back. We can't have anything in the back for aerobatics. The head temperature's working. For a change, it's in the green, and battery's not charging. That's good. Turn on the iPad, which like a lot of us now these days, we fly with Sky Demon.
Landing for traffic, Golf Victor Mike, taxiing out for 11. Landing for traffic. Landing for traffic, Victor Mike, entering backtracking 11, landing for...
Yeah, no, this is a wonderful airstrip. Laddingford, 700 metres, beautiful grass. It's well maintained, isn't it? It's just like a gorgeous English airfield.
Yeah, actually it's rich, so run it up to 1800 RPM with the stick back between your knees, because you need all your hands. And just check one mag. And check this one. That's good. Fly around for days on one of those, that's good. L slicks, sure it idles. Not for too long because wooden props are so light it will stop turning, which is quite embarrassing. Start it again. Pop the landing light on just for takeoff. It's a good bird scarer. RAF trick, they reckon they reduced bird strikes on takeoff and landing by 30% by just turning their landing lights on during the daytime.
Landing for traffic, Victor Mike, rolling 11, landing good.
And what's the tail up and rotate speed, Dave?
Oh, I don't know, when it feels right. A crosswind from the left, which is a bit tricky. So about then, and then we're off at about 60 miles an hour, that is.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Pop the flaps away. And get rid of the landing light because it's out of birds territory. Now let's come round. We'll just go up into the overhead and do some aerobatics as we got 3,500 feet above us here. A pretty good rate of climb, 1,000 feet a minute. Should be able to get a little bit more if we slow it down. Yeah, there we go.
Controlled airspace 1900.
1,500 feet a minute. Not bad for a 180 horsepower. Right, so a little clearing turn. Just have a look round, make sure the flaps are away. Just do a clearing turn. So we go around this way. Oh, look, see if we see any more aeroplanes about. We've got pilot aware on, so it's not showing anything either. So. Got head corn down at the end of the railway line. Just see it actually on the right of the railway line down.
Yeah, I got that. Nice green strip there.
Rain Hall Farm traffic, Golf X-ray, Mike, is that hot field for rejoin?
There you go. So I don't think there's anything here. Vaguely pointing to wind. I'll just put the transponder on 7004 for aerobatics. That might tell anyone about. Right, you happy?
Yeah.
So if we just do a gentle roll, so just an aileron roll to start with. Any old speed, so we just pitch up about that sort of thing, and then whiz round and then we'll be, there we go. So 1, 2, 3, pitching up, check.
Round we go.
Oh, that was amazing. Amazing.
So
That's very
very
cool.
gentle little roll. We'll do a loop now, probably 2.5, 3G. Might be able to see that, you might get a few beeps. There we go. There we go. And just pull over the top and just ease slightly. There we go. Looking out to the sides. See the world around. There's the world underneath.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Just flew through my prop wash on the bottom.
See?
So that was quite nice.
Well, she is coordinated, isn't she?
Yeah, it's very easy to find.
She seems to just do exactly what you ask her to do.
Yeah, I've got 1,000 hours in her, so
Yeah.
kind of, yeah. And then we can do a little stall turn. We've got to make sure we don't go above 3.5 for this, otherwise we'll get cross. So full power, and then just pull up. We'll go over to the. We'll be going to the left, so nearly vertical, watching the ASI unwind, and then round we go. And pointing at the ground.
Wow, 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 wow. Just brilliant. So you've got 1,000 hours experience in this plane, so you must wear it like a well-worn jumper and really enjoy it.
I do, yes. It's very good. Very good. So, there we go. A little bit of aerobatics.
That was absolutely amazing. Amazing.
Here we go home.
Yeah, let's go back to Laddingford and have a nice cup of tea, I think.
I think so.
What a great day we have had here at Laddingford with Dave and his very impressive and capable Cap 10B. Please subscribe and like if you are able, as this really helps build my channel. Until next time, this is Dan from Gin Clear Aviation.